Listen to Kovai Vani. Enjoy the podcast by our enthusiastic young residents. Kovai Care is the best place to retire.
Vanakkam.
Very, very happy Women's Day to all ladies. This is V. Sridharan from Coimbatore. Since ages, we have never heard any lady complaining to her better half, who was the only closest person in her life, about her own miseries. I sometimes wonder whether that is due to the way the girl child is brought up by her parents. You are going to another family after marriage, be a good wife to your husband, earn a good name from your in-laws, who will be practically your mother and father, be considerate to your other siblings of your husband, etc. Never the girl child was told to be herself and retain her self-respect while being a good daughter-in-law in her own new home.
I have never seen my mother complaining about even a headache from the day I started to remember the happenings at our home. She was always there for others, whether for simple needs or for emergency. She was expected to be the first one to rise in the morning, even beating the sun god, and the last one to hit the bed. That duty is sometimes shared only by the eldest daughter, before the daughter-in-law enters the family. That is, if there is a daughter in the family. In most of the families, the boys are let loose, all the more if the boy is the only son, like in my case. However, with due respect to all women, I too have seen cases in some families where Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi serial was enacted. Probably this may be because they want the Bahu to feel that there is another side of the life for them too. All that was 7 or 8 decades ago. The scene from 1970s seemed to be changing. Now the girl child has started to get good education and was expected to take a job which was helping her own family at first and then her husband's family financially. Even boys started looking out for a life partner who has a job. However, the girl's life was still hard. She had the household chores to be completed well before leaving for office and was expected to be back home in the evening to take care of the leftover jobs before going to bed. She was so busy in her home and office responsibilities to even find time to feel her body pain, leave alone mentioning it to anyone. Complaints, if any, were taken very lightly by all. Let us now turn to a recent report by the Pew Research Center, which is a non-partisan American think tank based in Washington, D.C. It provides information on social issues, public opinion, and demographic trends shaping the United States and the world. Indian adults nearly universally say it is important for women to have the same rights as men, including 8 out of 10 who say this is very important. At the same time, there are circumstances when Indians feel men should receive preferential treatment. That is, 80% agree with the idea that when there are few jobs, men should have more rights to a job than women. This is according to a new report by the Pew Research Center report. Meanwhile, almost 90% completely or mostly agree with the notion that a wife must always obey her husband, and most Indian women express total agreement with this sentiment. Though generally, Indian adults say it is important for families to have both sons and daughters, majority of them are for sex-selective abortions. Indians are united in the view that it is very important for a family to have at least one son. A custom broadly referred to as son preference is prevalent in Indian society. One manifestation of son preference has been the illegal practice of sex-selective abortions using ultrasound or other tests to learn the sex of fetus and terminating the pregnancy if the fetus is female. Most Indians say sons should be primarily responsible for parents' last rites or burial rituals, although attitudes differ significantly across religious groups. Very few Indians, regardless of religion, say daughters should be primarily responsible for funeral rituals. Roughly 3/4 of Indian adults say violence against women is a very big problem in their country. Police cases registered as crimes against women nearly doubled between 2010 and 2019, and rapes and murders of women have led to massive protests across India. So, what has really changed for India's women?
All is not lost. As we dedicate and celebrate the power and achievements of women on this day, it is not out of context to note that there are attempts in alleviating the problems and pains faced by the marginalized and disadvantaged communities across our male-dominated country. There are many women and NGOs led by women and others who help women to get justice, dignity, equality, self-respect in their families and social circles, and protecting them from violence in their homes and outside. The work of these NGOs needs admiration and emulation, as we all know how hard for a woman to survive, let alone shine in this today's world.
All the above just scratches the surface and gives a glimpse of what women and we as a nation can do to give the girl child, the teenager, the mother, and the elderly dignity and meaning to their lives. There are thousands of women and women NGOs who are transforming the lives of girls and women in India. To conclude, I would like everyone to think about the fact that our women folk observe fast for the longevity and good health of their men folk on many occasions. But has anyone come across even one such ritual where men pray for the longevity or health of their women folk?
So, better late than never, I hereby salute all women who were so loving and sensitive to the sufferings of the men folks all their lives but seldom got anything in return. Jai Hind.
That was an interesting talk, Sridhar, on the changing roles of women. On behalf of Koivani, I wish to thank both yourself, Mr. Sridhar, and also Mr. Krishnan for providing the statistical data in this talk. Signing off for Koivani is your Revati Bhaskar.
Thank you and stay tuned.